Opinions my own.
Gorgeous!
I just realized everything that we could be joking around about will be included into the podcast if Cole deems it funny.
If it passes Cole's funny threshold.
You guys really aren't that funny.
Oh,
Easy.
I think Cole.
We got a bad ass over here. We got a regular
bad
Bill
eating
Cosby
cookie over here.
in our midst.
Zoopity bop. You see, when Cole would make her face, we would all make this face.
Corey, we do a podcast. They can't see you.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I love it. I love it when she leans in. I love it when she leans in.
It's a podcast, Corey.
Cause you'll say something silly, and then she'll lean in, and she'll be like, Coley, and she'll be like, Corey, you're retarded. Corey.
Oh, like how it's episode 9.
It is episode 9, isn't it?
9
Episode
weeks
9.
we've been doing this.
That's ridiculous.
I'm feeling fine, and it's episode
Feeling
9.
fine for number 9.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wait, I'm going the wrong way. 11, 12. Wait, you know what I'm talking about, right? The Sesame Street one?
No, I
1, 2, 3,
no
4,
clue.
5, 6, 7. 7.
7, 8, 9,
7
10,
prostitutes.
11, 12. Like they make those silly little songs about numbers. Don't look at me like that. Like I'm the only one who had a childhood here. Sesame Street. They made songs out of numbers.
Yes.
They made songs
Yeah,
out
I
of
remember
numbers.
that. Well, welcome to episode 9.
You always sing.
Yeah.
Why not?
Episode 9. It's opinions my own.
Cole, that was a bad Eric Cartman impression just now.
That was way better than anything I've ever sang. That was phenomenal.
It's episode 9, you guys.
Yeah. Respect my thing and yeah. So, Cole, do you want to tell people how they can get in contact with us if they want to leave us a message?
Give us a massage?
No, leave us a message.
Oh, a message.
Yeah. I would absolutely 110% be happy to do that and willing to let everyone know what our
That's calling tactics if I've ever heard them. Well, we have Facebook, Google+, Twitter. We also have a phone number. Yeah. You can leave a message. Cole, do you happen to have that phone number?
Find it.
Okay.
It was stalling and now
You know, Frank, you know what? I think, yeah, I'm getting tired
There
of
it
being
is.
unprepared, Cole. I'm getting tired.
really? Am I fired?
I think after this episode, we're going to have a talk. Corey and I have been talking, and we both agree. Yeah. That we need to have a
I
talk.
knew I was being booted out slowly but surely.
About you and your professionalism.
Okay.
It's about time, Corey and I, we spread our wings.
Spread our wings.
It's about time we
fly away.
It's about time we find out where this bromance takes
I
us.
believe I can soar with Uncle Tony.
Flying right into that closet door. Door.
Oh, that's okay. Too much.
So the phone
Cole's getting so
number,
annoyed with us. What is it?
if you'd like to leave us a voicemail or a text that comes right to my phone, the phone number is 321-209-3959.
Yes. So leave some sort of voicemail, any voicemail, and we'll include it on the podcast. Seriously.
Yeah, fun stuff.
You could take that to the bank.
So, is there any news?
Actually, well, Corey, you really did a job of putting the content into the sidebar. Because, as you will know,
You had one job.
there is no news.
I had 2 jobs.
Yet,
You had one job.
a Game of Thrones update.
Ooh, Game of Thrones. Okay. So after that small and yet not so small spoiler from Uncle Tony last episode, where are you at now?
It was really funny. I wanted to almost update the audio last week when I was editing because we recorded on a Saturday morning, and by Saturday evening I'd watched 6 more episodes. So I felt like my opinion had changed drastically in that amount of time. And I am now in season 2. Mm-hmm. I'm about over halfway through. Yep, episode 6 of season 2.
Oh my gosh, that's ridiculous.
Watched quite a bit. I actually had to take a break because the show was infiltrating my dreams.
Oh man!
So I took a little bit of a break and went back to Doctor Who over the weekend because I've been a little bit under the weather. So really, all I could do was do some artwork and then watch TV. So anyway, I feel like Game of Thrones is an amazing show, which everyone kind of said it would be. And I still stand by the fact that it's very hard to get into. Season 1 is all about character development. And there's so many characters
it really is.
That it takes you a long time to really find the dynamics between all of them and how they all relate and everything. So I stand by that. But once you get into it, you find your favorite characters and you become attached to them. And I know I have been warned not to become attached.
You shouldn't do that.
But I do have my favorite characters that I'm attached to, and unfortunately I've lost a couple. So I understand.
That's the quickest way to get them killed is to get attached to them.
Oh, I
That's
love
all your
you,
fault.
and you're dead.
Oh.
So it's amazing. The storytelling is very dramatic and very thought-provoking, and the thing about it, you never know what you're gonna get. There's no rules. They're not operating in the realm of, like with Doctor Who, space, and you've got aliens that can control all this stuff. This is a different realm, and there's just no rules. You just never know what one object could do or what one character could do. So it's fabulous.
It's the Wild West, baby.
Yeah. So it's very interesting, and I've become very into it, and I really have appreciated Corey and Nick Mack and being able to ask questions because there are so many layers. It's a big oniony show, if you will. I've had to ask some questions about like, who's this? Where did this come from? What's that? And then it's also fun to make predictions because they know the end, and I'll say, ooh, I think this is going to happen with this, and these are for that, or whatever.
You guessed it.
And then that's my predictions, and then it's fun to talk about them later. And what Corey just said right there, that MFer every single time, I'll be like, so does so-and-so die? He'll be like, you guessed it. Every time. Like, so he never will spoil anything. Unlike other people,
what a guy,
right. Uncle Tony, you don't know
what a class act that man is.
But here's the thing,
okay,
Antonio, you can't feel too bad because I was.
I don't. I don't.
Really? Listen
not
to
anymore.
the ending
not
of
anymore.
the last show, and I think you do. Because you can hear just the emotion pouring out of your voice. But no.
I thought I had a friendship on the line, and that's really, that's what Game of Thrones does to you. That's what Game of Thrones does to you.
There's so much on the line.
You don't just spoil a whole season and come back from that easily.
Well,
it's Game of Thrones.
The next day, I was talking to Nick Mack, and he goes, "Can you believe that they beheaded beep?" And I'm like, "Oh, well, guess what?" I didn't know that.
I haven't seen that part yet.
And he's like, "You're kidding? What? No."
He did the exact same thing as you.
So
it was crazy.
You told me who died. He told me
so
how he died. So by the time that I
took the
get to
bullet.
this episode,
Yeah.
there could not have been less suspense in that scene for me.
You know?
None whatsoever.
Less suspense.
None. There was nothing left.
You're like, I was doing my taxes during that
Yeah.
episode because I already knew.
Yeah.
I was so
interesting, yeah.
disenthused, you know. So
That's
you
so funny.
you heard it here, Mims. You owe me, okay? Because I took the bullet. I took the bullet for you, buddy. I want you to think about that. I took the bullet, the spoiler bullet. You heard it here.
No, but
I feel much better telling everyone.
No, I need to say
No,
something
I don't want
real
you to.
quick. I need to my
No,
final
I don't.
point. Shut up. Okay. So I the interesting thing about it is whenever you're talking to me and or Nick Mack, it's funny because sometimes we won't even know the answer to that because they love to sprinkle little things in the beginning, like the first season, and then like way back they'll drop hints, and then like 2 seasons later they'll finally explain what that was. And some of the things in the first season or second season you don't even know, so you're like asking us questions and we might not even know that
True.
answer, so we're like, you guessed it.
Okay, so anyway,
He's got 2 cents. Uncle Tony. He's got 2 cents.
So Rush Limbaugh made a public statement earlier this week in response to whether or not he was going to moderate for the upcoming GOP debates. He asserted he was, quote, too famous and might overshadow the event. That's right. Eventually, Rush admitted he had prior engagements anyway, having recently been inducted to join Kanye West and Donald Trump in the prestigious League of Extraordinary Douchebags. Yeah, they had a meeting that week, I guess. Robin Thicke is in the news, actually, spearheading a lawsuit aimed at Marvin Gaye's family and the Funkadelics. The legal proceedings took place to address allegations that his latest chart topper, Blurred Lines, had stolen its composition from one of Gaye's songs, Got to Give It Up. When word spread, Rihanna joined the fray and in turn sued Robin Thicke for infringing on her copyright over trashy music videos. And finally, according to a recent study, it was found that people who have sex at least 4 times a week make more money on average, are happier, and tend to live longer. That's right. In other news, scientists expanded the list of animals to survive a nuclear holocaust to include Hugh Hefner. Guy's immortal. Dude's immortal. Those are my 2 cents, and this is the OMO podcast. Got to get with the times.
So I have been
Yeah.
trying to get with the times, and researching for Cole's polls, I came across a wonderful poll, and it was a study of 1,000 single Canadians. Now I know they're Canadians, but I think the data's still a little bit valid.
Ooh.
Okay. This was performed by Match.com. The study found that
Seems legit.
cat
guys are legit,
lovers are less likely to call back after a date. Yes, a random statistical sampling of 1,000 single Canadians on Match.com. So, a good question to ask a person when you're on a date. So, do you like cats? They say, yep. Don't expect a call. Next, dog lovers are more likely to have a one-night stand. So, hey, you like dogs? Wanky wanky.
Winky, winky.
You like dogs? Be like Brad Pitt for Snatch. Hey, you like dogs? Hey, you like dogs?
I think it's funny that a one-night stand and not calling after the first date, they're kind of the same thing.
Yeah, what if guys like, I love dogs, and then after the hay, it's like, no.
So if they like both, then stay away.
Yep. This sounds like a survey that was constructed by a dog lover.
Yeah,
I'm just
it
saying,
really does.
I think. Yeah.
It was
really
done
does,
by
yeah.
what?
Or a cat lover. You could actually argue both sides.
That's true.
I think.
Canadians who don't own pets are less likely to believe in soulmates. You guys
I don't
are
know
not
what your
finding
pick is
this
on-
hilarious?
No.
This is so stupid.
Oh, I didn't know there were jokes.
I found this and I was like, who, why, and what funding? Like, who provided the funding for this survey?
I think that's...
You're like, there's still cancer
Yeah.
out there. Why are people studying this? There's still HIV and AIDS and real problems that are affecting
Canadian
us.
problems.
But no. I want to know that if this guy is a dog lover, that we're going to get lucky. So,
Okay, I have a quote
priorities, people.
for you
Oh,
guys.
no.
According
This
to
whole
Kimberly
segment.
Moffat, little Miss Moffat who sat on top of it, I wonder how much she got that in school.
Oh, yeah, teasing.
She's a psychotherapist
Yeah.
and a blogger for Match.com. And she said that the results show there are significant differences in dating styles of dog lovers and cat lovers. What we found is that in this study is that dog lovers tend to date a little bit more like dogs, and cat lovers dated a little bit more like cats. The dog lovers were a lot more willing to spend money on the first date and were a lot more willing to have a one-night stand. So a little more eager and enthusiastic. Whereas cat lovers were a little bit more aloof in their relationships.
Aloof.
Yes.
Aloof,
A loaf
yeah.
of bread.
Aloof.
However,
I was just trying to get a rise out of you.
disclaimer-
Wheat.
I didn't even hear you. I was reading this disclaimer. You guys, what did you say?
Wheat? Oh, I want to hear this disclaimer, to be honest with you. I don't even... What is this?
Yeah, what-
all of these
what are
all
the,
of these are made up because it was a slow knees
No,
down match.
no, this
Next topic. Next topic.
No. Moffat noted that despite the differences between dog and cat lovers, pet preferences should not dictate future dating choices.
Oh, jeez.
Because that
I'm
had
just-
to be said.
Yeah, this is all just too silly. People are gonna read this and actually take it
I need
seriously.
to update my Tinder right now.
Go on.
So the survey also found the following.
I'm waiting on bated breath.
50%. Oh, they spelled it percent with a space between.
I hate that.
Is that the Canadian way to
Percent.
do it? Because all of them are
Oh,
done
it
that
might
way.
be.
50, because that means per penny.
Percent.
50
Yeah,
per
I
penny.
know.
Oh, okay.
Makes
That
sense.
seems legit. Okay.
Complete sense.
That makes
Canadians.
sense.
50% of cat lovers are more likely to date somebody more than 10 years younger than them. Cat lovers tend to spend between $5 and $20 on the first date, while dog lovers will spend between $40 and $50. Canadians who love dogs are more likely to have dated a friend compared to cat lovers. 57% of Canadians who don't like animals will marry someone without living with them first.
See, I came to the realization just now that none of this information is valuable to me or Uncle Tony. Or you, Cole, because not only like Uncle Tony, you're happily married, so you're not planning on doing any kind of Match.comming anytime soon, and neither of us live in
One way to put it,
Canada,
yeah.
so and they're pretty silly as it
Canada.
is. They are just so silly.
Yeah.
That, and I want to see the
Well,
sorry, Uncle Tony. I
go
want to
ahead.
see the Match.com statistics for like age, because all I'm thinking of when I hear like cat lovers, I'm thinking of like old cat ladies that are 60 and have 50 cats and have.
Well, I think it's just like, do you like cats or dogs? I mean, it's not an abnormal question. People ask that all the time.
No,
Are you
I know
a dog
that,
person
but-
or are you a cat person?
But I don't think that Match.com is a good sampling because that's a pay site. Am I?
I think
right?
Match.com is the best type of site because it is a paid site. You're not getting just, the people randoms,
Right, but you'd also have to pay for it, therefore, suggesting that they're more well-established financially and therefore older. Right. So I'm assuming their average user is at least 40 or older.
I highly doubt that. I'd say 30.
Here's Uncle
Oh,
Tony's
Okay.
take. Here's Uncle Tony's take on that. I think that it has a lot to do with just the type of personalities that you have, and that's an obvious thing to say, but you can draw a lot of parallels between the kind of person who wants a dog and what that person wants out of that relationship.
true.
Because if you get a dog, there's going to be upkeep. You're going to have to take care of them. They're going to be much more dependent on you.
They're
than
also a
cat.
companion rather than just a living...
Right, than a pet.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm obviously a
Right.
dog person, like without beyond a shadow of doubt. But if it's one thing too that I've noticed that I do feel like I know a lot of people who like cats. I have no problem with cats. But it kind of almost seems like, and this isn't, this without straying too much into the psychobabble, it does seem like cat owners, if it's a handful of characteristics that I feel like I've seen that are somewhat that are pretty common among them, it's that cat owners tend to have fewer relationships. It tends to take longer for them to form a relationship, and I don't know if that has to do with like trust issues. I don't know if that has to do with anything like that. But it still seems like aloof is a good word. That's a great word to describe a cat, but that's also a great word to describe a cat owner. It's almost like you want a pet, you want someone who's going to be there, but you don't really want someone who's going to be needy. You don't want someone who's going to. It's almost like when you have a pet cat. It's like, you don't own
True.
them; they own you. Like they're, you're around and you guys cohabitate. You don't really live with
Right.
a cat.
Yeah.
But that's just a personality wise. I think that has a lot to do with cat owners tend to be more particular. They tend to be a little bit more anal retentive, in my opinion.
You know what's funny about that? I kind of have to disagree with some of the points. A lot of the points you made were absolutely accurate, but some of the points that you were making, I disagree. I think it all depends on the kind of personality on the pet that you get. Because some cats will just completely not give a care in the world that you were even there. And some cats are needy beyond belief and will always want to be petted on you.
I swear to God.
Will
I
jump
swear
on
to
your
God.
keyboard while
I'm
you're
so-
typing and...
That's still characteristic of a cat. But if you want to see me rage, bring me your cat and be like, oh, it's like he's not even a cat, And I'm like, what? Oh, this cat is like, it's like she's not
What
even a
does that
cat. Like
even
that's a
mean?
bonus. You have a cat when the bonus is, oh, I have a parrot, but he's totally like not even a parrot. So, like he's awesome. He's awesome. It's like I think that's a pretty big clue that you have a pet.
Yeah.
But that's just but that's just my opinion.
What this is trying to do, this survey, I'm not trying to validate it at all because I think it's the most ridiculous survey ever.
Yeah, it's pretty silly.
But it's drawing parallels between like what you want from your pet and what you want in a relationship. So, for example, the dogs that require a lot of attention, they also want to give you love and affection very quickly. I mean, you just smile at them and they're all happy and wagging their tails. And so that's why they're saying a dog lover might be more vulnerable, and having a one-night stand gives them that immediate affection that they get from a dog. It's silly, but you can kind of see.
I think that's an interpretation. Yeah, I think that's one interpretation, but it's just like it just has a lot to do with. I see a lot of parallels in terms of just like the archetypes. Like if you're a dog owner, you're just naturally a giver, But I feel like if you're a cat owner, you tend to be a little bit more reserved.
I got the wrong animal.
Does that make sense?
No one told me my dog would require so much time. No, I'm just kidding. Corey tried to warn me.
Said the mom.
I did try and warn you.
yeah, said the mom. I just, pets really cut into your spare time, they're pooping and they're eating all the time.
She just wants to go out all the time. Hey, so you guys, I don't know if anyone noticed this last week in the episode when you were listening to it. I was mentioning to Corey that sometimes I feel like I sound drunk, like I'm slurring my words when I talk, and I think it's because I'm trying to talk so fast. Because you guys, yip, 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 and you talk so fast, so I'm trying to get everything in, and I'm slurring my words.
Yeah.
And
no, a loaf.
A loaf of wheat bread.
Yeah. No,
a loaf of wheat bread. Yeah.
I didn't.
So anyway, I was
That is
mentioning
Amy.
that to Corey, and he brought up a very good point. So Corey, will you tell us about that?
Yes, I've been thinking about it, and I was thinking there are certain words that you can't say without sounding drunk. You can't sound intoxicated without saying, when you're saying these words. So I have a list, and if I butcher these words, I'm sorry. It's literally because you sound like you're drunk when you're talking about them.
It's literally.
I
because
swear,
I'm drunk.
I
I'm
swear
drunk
I
right now.
had a
That's
sip
why.
of alcohol today. Not making
Not
my
one
case.
sip.
Yeah.
I mean,
Not
you're
at
talking
all.
about like
Not
a
one-
12-pack, then
Not
we
a
got one
drop.
different story.
Okay, so first word, jumping right in here. Fiduciary.
Fiduciary.
I was really hoping to catch Uncle Tony with a spit take on that one. That was just a fun word. Fiduciary. Okay.
I got in trouble in class for calling this kid back in high school. I called him a fiduciary bag. That's a true story. It was an accounting class, I think. I think it was college. It might have been college. Yeah, I got
do
in
you
trouble
do
in
that?
college. How do you do that?
That's impossible.
I don't know, but I got in
Fiduciary.
trouble. I don't know. Yeah, but I called the
We
kid
have
a
to blame that?
fiduciary
I don't even
bag.
know. Tony just...
I thought it
that
was
is
clever. Fiduciary is a funny word. That's
What does it
that's
mean?
comedic gold. That's comedic gold. It has to do with a financial responsibility. Like, for example, if I want to host like a charity or something, okay, but I'm not a charity. I don't have a 501c3 license or anything. I can accept this money for my charity event on behalf of someone else who has a 501c3 license. So if there's like a local charity, they can act as my fiduciary agent. So that's like one word of it. So they're my fiduciary agent where they're actually collecting the money and they're able to take advantage of it using, they're able to serve that role because I'm not a charity.
Looks like we got another bass over here. Fiduciary. You point at yourself. There you go. So, all right, on with the list. That was awesome. Well done, Uncle Tony. All right.
Thank
All
you.
right, next word
Thank you.
is similarly. Similarly. There you go.
Similarly,
See? It sounds like... You sound like you're drunk.
Similarly.
Similarly.
Slippery. What?
Hey Cole. In
Specific.
specific.
Oh, that's so funny.
Oh,
Specifically.
Corey, if you only knew
Similarly
how much
and
time we wasted
specific.
one day debating whether in specific was proper and was grammatically correct.
Never get it back.
Oh.
We'll never get it. No, we had like 5 noodles baking over here, digging, just getting to the bottom of it.
I'm never going to get through this list if we keep on
Keep
talking about
going, then.
work. All right. Next one is articulate. Articulate. You know what I mean. Articulate. I practiced these words
I
too.
did.
All right. Next one is pedestrian. That's actually not too tough.
I don't know what that word was. That you can't just gloss over
Articulate.
it. Like what?
Articulate.
Okay.
Yeah. Articulate, officer. I'm just trying to articulate my words. Pedestrian. Substantial. Yeah, that's
Substantial.
try and get your
Substantial.
mouth around that one.
Is it bad that these are all words that I use at least once a day?
You're a
Like,
smart
does that
cookie.
make me
You're
a
a
douche?
Some of these
It
I
makes
think
you
are not
pompous.
words that you
That-
sound drunk. I think it's the beard.
I think
Does your
you're-
beard weigh down your lower
The
It
beard.
half
does, yeah.
of your mouth?
No, but
Make
it
it
used to.
harder
It
to
used to, but I've trained my mouth to adapt to the weight. You
brings
jerk.
the jowls
So,
down, makes your vowels longer. Aw.
You're both jerks.
Aw.
So let me carry on here. All right. Next one is juror. Now, see that one. That's a tough one. Say
Juror.
Juror.
That is a drunk. You make
Juror.
drunk word. Yep.
Juror.
fiduciary.
Juror.
No,
all right,
you're a
here's tough
juror.
one. Here's a tough one. You're a juror. Took our jurors. So next one is legislature. Oh man.
Legislature.
Next one is irreparable. Like irreparable damage.
Irreparable.
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 The slower you say it, the less
Yeah, that's a drunk word.
the less. Yeah, it is. All right, next one is judicial system. Oh, that's tough. Judicial system.
See, okay, some of these are not
Judicial
like
system.
like you just sound drunk. They're just hard as all
Exactly.
get up to say.
Next one is anti-disestablishmentarianism.
Establishmentarianism, yes. All right.
Okay,
And
so Corey, the next
one.
time that you get drunk, we need to get in Google Chat.
Okay.
Just impromptu podcast.
I'll load up the Audacity,
And you say
yep.
the list.
All right, I'm putting them in right now. All right, and last but not least is, oh man. All right, I don't know if I'm gonna get this to the first try. Colloquialism. There you go.
You did. Good
Colloquialism,
job.
yeah, colloquialism.
Yes.
Woohoo! Way to go, buddy.
And that is
like
Corey's
it.
corner.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna make our way into the social media news.
Yeah. Social media is becoming more and more integrated into our everyday life, and people don't understand, what they put out on the internet can be seen by anyone, including people who actually know you. So I have a couple instances of where people tweeted and were subsequently in trouble at their places of employment.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So the first man, he got fired because he tweeted about a group of people not leaving a tip. So he worked at what it sounds to me like is a food cart of some sort.
Oh, okay.
And a group of people from a business came down and they placed this huge order. It ended up being $170. And it caused, other people waiting for their lunch to be, to have to wait. And
Yeah,
they were not,
inconvenience, for
they
sure.
weren't happy about it. And so they didn't leave a tip. And
that's
this,
a bad idea.
well, yeah, it's a bad idea. I mean, we've talked about
Rude.
tipping
Just-
and
yeah. Mhm.
and everything, but I always like to give people the benefit of the doubt, and maybe these people just didn't understand that, hey, it's a food truck, we're not going to tip. But in all reality, you should have tipped. Like, common sense says you should have tipped.
Oh yeah.
Well, Mr. O'Connor decided that he was going to tweet and call out the people. And he tweeted, "Shout out to the good people of Glass, Lewis & Co. for placing a $170 order and not leaving a tip at Glass Lewis." So not only did he tweet about them, he mentioned them by name and then mentioned their Twitter account.
You called them out on Twitter too.
Right.
Ouch. Not a
Yeah.
Bad
not
form.
a good idea. Not classy.
So
Yep.
he
Bad.
wrote
Bad.
he wrote a blog
Bad.
about this, which is where I'm getting all of my information from. So 2 days later, he got a text from the owner asking if he was free to talk on the phone at some point, and they spoke later that afternoon.
Oh.
The owner told him that he had gotten a call from Glass, Lewis & Co. The company provides shareholder advisory services, and apparently these employees were mortified that their lunch truck had tip shamed them. The home office in San Francisco even got involved.
Whoa.
So as a result, he was let go.
Ooh, the guy that tweeted?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So the food
Yeah,
truck
for sure. Yep,
apologized via Twitter, and they said, regarding yesterday's tweet by an employee, it was flat out wrong. We do not in any way support or condone this behavior. Our apology. And then Glass Lewis came back with saying, we appreciate it and look forward to doing business with you again.
See, that's a good ending to a. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, great, but they still should have tipped. Like, don't
Oh, yeah.
be douchebag and tip the guy.
Yeah. No, he got fired. Yeah, no, the guy got boned. He did the wrong. But yeah, that was bad form. You don't place a huge order like that people have to slave extra hard to get to you on time, and then you just stiff them.
It was a bonehead move on the guy's part to tweet about it, to call him out by name. He left no room for, like, is it this order we're talking about, or is it this one? There's no room for
Yeah, he could have been like
excuse.
subtle about it. Right. You're like, hey,
Yeah.
that certain large order that I just got, no tip, really? Or
There's definitely ways. Yeah, there's definitely ways he could have done it. There's definitely ways he could have done it a little bit smarter.
kind of tactful.
Where it would have gotten the point across, but at the same time, it wasn't going to get fired.
Here's what I want to know. What was that guy expecting to be the perfect resolution of this? He was expecting like them to come back and go, "Oh, I'm so sorry we didn't tip you. Oh, we'll double tip you next time, and we'll continue to." What? You got called out on a public forum essentially. That's so dumb. That's not how to do business.
Yeah, it's silly. Some silliness
Billy.
right there. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you're right about that though. Like, what the hell was going through his mind? At what point does that become a good idea? Like, I can see how you would think that. You'd be like, oh man, I would just love nothing more than to put this on blast on Twitter and shame them and get my satisfaction out of the situation. But then that's where it stops. That's where you're like, oh yeah, I'll probably get fired.
He did say that, obviously, I knew I was possibly going to get fired. I guess I had hoped that the owner would have my back if they complained, but that was a miscalculation. And the stakes weren't too high, or I wouldn't have done it. I'd been thinking about quitting and focusing on freelancing, so I'd have the luxury of speaking
there you
and
go.
then tweeting my mind.
Oh,
Yeah,
go to
right?
hell. I'm sorry. That's so tacky.
Yeah,
That's so cheap.
it's one thing
I
if
mean,
he was
I
ignorant
was
about
thinking
it.
of quitting.
He didn't realize.
I was thinking of quitting anyways. Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and
Yeah.
do this, and like, what does that tell? What does that say about him for any other perspective?
No,
employers?
nothing.
That he's gonna go and be a freelancer. For
Yeah.
like,
He could just easily just go, I don't feel like doing anything with this client anymore. I've been paid, so I'm just going to pull their name through the mud as well. That's one last thing. I think the one thing that you should always know about this from a business standpoint, putting forth social media messages, is kill them with kindness. Always kill them with kindness.
Right.
Don't ever feed the trolls. Come back with some sort of constructive way to do it. If you have to be negative in a tweet, make it a joke or something, or hopefully you tip next time, ha ha ha, and don't be a jerk about it. Kill him with kindness.
Okay, so we had a guy who basically, he didn't do anything illegal, but he did kind of like a bad business practice. Something that looks good on or bad on the business, and he was fired for it, right? So we've got
Right.
that guy. The next one, we have just a complete idiot tweeting something. So, headline reads, "Man asks for weed delivery on Twitter. Gets fired."
That's
He's
a
from
service?
Canada. Hello.
There it is. There it is.
Canada wins again.
I really feel really bad, but I'm going to butcher the heck out of his name. Sunaith
you won't.
Batharanin?
Whoa, that's like a Klingon
that sounds
guy or
like
something.
Sunith. Sunith. Sunith.
Klingon.
Oh, you're welcome, Uncle Tony. I'm glad you noticed.
God bless you.
I'm glad you noticed I sneezed.
What's that Klingon?
Sunith Batharanin is the
Easy for
best
you to
I can
say.
do.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Klingon.
Good.
There it
That's
is.
Klingon, all right.
Speaking foreign languages. Boom. All right. So he's at work. He's an aspiring mechanics, quote unquote. And he,
So he's
Yep,
unemployed.
there it is.
well, now he is. Post tweet,
Oh, okay.
he tweets, "Any dealers in Vaughan want to make a 20-sack chop? Question mark. Come to Keeley/Langstaff, Mr. Lube. Need a spliff or two to help me last this open to close."
What is going on?
Wow.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Yep.
This guy's got gold. That's all I gotta say.
So, he did get a retweet from the
From his
No.
boss.
from the York Regional Police.
Oh.
Awesome. Can we come too? Question mark. RT.
It's so
Wait a
good.
second. Is this the Mounties? I didn't know the Mounties were on Twitter.
Apparently. Apparently.
That's
Isn't that
excellent.
nice?
They're so friendly.
Well, I mean, but
They're
couldn't
so
it?
friendly
I
in
mean,
Canada.
arguably though, couldn't he have I mean, he still could have gotten fired. I mean, that's not gonna change. That is what it is. But couldn't he still technically do some degree of backpedaling and just try to play it off like a joke?
Yep. Next, he fired off a string of tweets claiming the original tweet was a joke and that people really gotta stop taking tweets seriously. LAMO.
Did he say LAMO?
Lamo.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Lamo.
LMAO.
I was gonna say like
LAMO.
Lamo.
Lamo. He's clearly
He's pretty
stoned.
Lamo, that's for sure.
That man was definitely kidding.
JK, dog.
He
JK.
was already.
The backtracking appears to have come too late, though. The manager at Mr. Lube, where he worked, oh man, his name's worse.
Yeah, I thought Mr. Lube was pretty bad.
Shivananda. Shivanand. Ramsaak.
Mana.
His boss said he was quote unquote relieved of his duties, but would not
Mana.
confirm the reason or anything.
Mana. Mana.
You guys are ridiculous.
Yeah, I thought that was so funny. How I think maybe they get promoted based on how hard their name is. Like, maybe that's like the degree of separation there is.
Insane.
The amount of respect
And their CEO, the prestigious CEO of the company is
just or
So
Chewie's
the
dad.
official
Wookiee yawn for short.
The official Mr. Lube account posted on Twitter, they replied to the police saying, "Thank you to the York Regional Police for your help and great work. The matter has now been handled."
That's ridiculous.
Oh.
That's like a dad reply. He will be taken care of post haste.
Yeah.
Oh.
I just like their tweet.
With
Awesome. Can we
extreme
come
prejudice.
too?
Yeah,
How-
that's
He's
pretty
being
good,
questioned
yeah.
by top men.
How much poop came out of his butt when he saw that?
What? What? like a cubic what?
It's
Volume
a non-vulgar way of saying how much did he shit his pants, Corey?
Oh, okay.
How much poo is that guy? That guy
You know,
defecated. There
when you
was some
try not to
defecation.
swear,
His
you
onions
have
were
to come up
overflowing.
with...
That's how scared he was.
How much poop came out of his butt?
I try not to swear. You guys are so...
Cole's gonna flip her shit.
Like more than a bread basket.
yeah.
Like less. I mean, that's. Oh
Okay.
man.
Like a picnic basket.
Oh,
yeah, okay.
So,
Yogi Bear.
I think you guys need to calm it down. You're a little bit too happy. So why don't
Okay.
you go get on
That's not my fault.
Facebook?
This is...
It'll make you less happy, and then we can continue
Okay.
this podcast.
Oh, you thought she was
Segue
serious.
of the year.
Segued.
Right there.
Segued.
Man, my butt is sore
Boom.
from that segue.
Drop,
Ouch.
and then she drops the mic.
Drops
She's
the
like,
mic, walks on stage.
Like, is Cole coming back? She's really gone.
Okay, so you guys have seen this, right? You got because I spend a lot of time on the internet reading news, and that's where I don't watch TV
It's true.
for news anymore or anything. And everywhere I look, it seems like they're saying Facebook makes you unhappy or unhappiness linked to Facebook. So, have you read this article?
yeah. I checked it out actually, and I thought it was kind of ironic if you listen to any of the, especially if they listened to the last podcast, to tell you you previously did a poll about some of the country's unhappiest states, and Michigan was among the trendsetters in unhappiness. And ironically enough, guess what? Guess who did a study on Facebook making you unhappy? University of Michigan.
Nice.
That's right. The Wolverines. The Wolverines brought this one
Ba-boom.
in. And if it's one thing that we know, it is Verner's pop and unhappiness.
That's very true. Corey, do you even know where?
Nope. I was just about to ask.
Do you know what Verner's is?
Was that like Wawa? What is Verner's?
It's a form of ginger ale, and
Oh,
Well, it started off It started off as a medicinal supplement, I believe.
What?
I'm pretty sure. And then they're like, yeah, it doesn't do anything, but it tastes good. Call it Verner's. All right, sell it. And it's
Here's
Let's go
the thing.
yeah.
I did not know that Verner's was different than ginger ale. And when I got pregnant,
Yes,
everyone was like,
yes.
drink ginger ale. And I was like, no, I hate ginger ale. Thinking it was Verner's, because when I was little and you'd get sick, you get the flu, my mom always gave me Verner's. And so I just thought that was ginger ale until someone finally was like, here, just drink this. And I was like, oh, this is fantastic. Where has this been all my life?
Oh, this is magically delicious. Oh, right, an ongoing apple picking with Scooby-Doo. Toy.
Verner's, you can only get it up north in Michigan. Yeah.
Yeah,
All
that's
this
true.
is going over my head.
Well, I tell you, they must have been bored. Must have been a slow day, because they did a study. They did a study on some of the effects of Facebook, and you would think that being able to connect with so many people from all different stages of your life, being able to be surrounded and have communication with a much wider group of people would make you happier. That was the findings. They concluded that the more subjects that use Facebook during one time period, the worse that they felt. So the more, maybe I'm interpreting that wrong. I'm gonna see if I can find you the summary of it. I don't know. Maybe Cole, maybe you might be able to
Okay.
summarize it
While
better than I
you're
could.
looking that up, I wanted to say. Oh, Cole, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I
come too
I
far
feel
already.
that can be. Wow. And you're suggesting you're not still mad at me. Really? Interesting. We've come too far. We've come too far. We've come too far. They know too much. We know too much.
We know too much.
They're lying.
Okay, do you want me to explain the study, or are you going to do
I
what?
want to say what I was going to say. Okay.
5 minutes
Say what you
ago.
need to say. Okay, 5 minutes? Oh, man. I'm not
No,
even
I
gonna
said
do
5
this. Okay.
minutes ago you were going to say something. Then
Oh,
you
okay,
joked,
good.
and now you're back
as
to
much
it.
time as
Go.
I need. Okay, I'll go. So anytime I see Facebook drama on my feed, I get a little bit more sad, and just it kills me a little inside, because people that they bring up the most obscure, depressing shit on Facebook, and they think it's okay, boing. They think that it's okay to share it with everyone and bring everyone down or something, or they think that they're talking one-on-one with an intimate, best friend. Like, how often does that happen to you? Like, you're talking to them, and then they're like, oh, by the way, my uncle's really sick. Like, they just post that on their Facebook. It's like, why? Why would you do that?
Yeah. So that was what you wanted to say? Way to add value. So, the researchers used an
Huh? Yeah.
sailing. Oh, there goes Corey. He's gone.
I'm out.
What if he just flipped the table?
Oh, he's done.
Yeah, well, this.
You don't have to be a dickhole about it. All you have to do is just cut me out.
Okay, so here's what they did. The researchers wanted to measure how the users think, feel, and behave they texted them at random times 5 days a week for 2 weeks. Each text contained a link to an online survey with 5 questions, including how the Facebook user felt at that moment, how worried he or she was, and how lonely the user felt at that time. The study concluded that the more the subjects used Facebook during one period of time, the worse they felt.
Wow, that's pretty significant.
That's
yeah.
profound.
That would explain why I feel so good, because I've been using Facebook less and less. Oh, Facebook is just sucking the life out of them. Slowly but surely.
Oh, I knew you were going to love that. I was talking to Corey. I was like, I knew you were going to love
I do.
that.
I love it to pieces.
This is Ethan Cross, who is a U of M social psychologist, said, on the surface, Facebook proves an invaluable resource for fulfilling the basic human need for social connection. But rather than enhancing the well-being, we found that Facebook use predicts the opposite result. It undermines it. So the researchers clarified that they found no evidence that people were more likely to use Facebook when they felt bad. There went a blank screen. The entire article just disappeared. Okay,
Oh
here's it.
shit! The government's found you.
Zuckerberg's got me.
Zuckerberger,
Zuckerberg
throw some cheese on that Zuckerberger.
has you in its clutches.
Well, here's the thing that blows this entire thing out of the water. They studied 82 people. That is not
What
a
is this?
statistically
Yeah, no.
relevant sample size for
I think
any.
you have to have at least 100 to have a good sample size.
That's-
At least, right?
And I bet you they were all from the same area too,
Probably.
weren't they? It wasn't even there wasn't even like a geographical
I don't know.
spread.
Michigan.
I'm sorry. It doesn't matter. If it was 82
Michigan
people across
students?
the United States,
Like,
it doesn't
what if,
matter.
Like, what if they conducted their study? What if they conducted their study in like Egypt? Like, just now, they're like, yeah, things are kind of
Yeah.
around here. Yeah, I don't know. Like, you need a spread. I think I totally agree. I think you need
Yeah.
a much larger sample.
And
group.
also, is there any kind of like other factors that are factoring in? There's so many. How many dependent variables are there? What's the time period that it was taken in? Yeah, was it taken over the year? Was it taken over a
But
month?
that's the thing, that with these stupid internet articles nowadays, you can do them so irresponsibly, and
Yeah.
they can be broadcasted across the entire internet, and people take.
and have an impact.
Oh yeah, it's true.
This has
Yeah.
had a huge impact. It has been talked about. It's been on the news. I mean, this is written on Philadelphia's CBS local station that I read it on, but it was all over. So,
Oh,
you know,
jeez.
I mean, we could do our own study and.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. And I don't. I think that I definitely think that they need a larger sample group in order to determine that, hey, Facebook makes you unhappy. I think there's some sort of logical fallacy at work here, where you say, well, all these people are using Facebook, therefore Facebook makes them unhappy. I just think that the way that they're saying it is a little subversive.
is.
Like, what if you're like, oh, well, what kind of cars do you drive? Oh, they all drive foreign cars, and they're having crappy
Yep.
days. Well, foreign cars.
They're
make you
obviously the
unhappy.
cause.
Like, it doesn't.
Yeah. Or like, what happens? What
Exactly.
happens if they strategically do it? That they knew that there was a new, like, what if this was right before Timeline was implemented? You know, and they were like, oh, we need to
Right.
make a shocking article. We know that there's going to be a new change in Facebook implemented soon, so we're going to do this cunningly right before this big, massive change that everyone's going to be unhappy with. And just for viewership, just to sensationalize a story that you're just manufacturing a story. So what if they said, okay, well, we're going to take a whole bunch of people and then we're going to track their things, you know, their feelings on Facebook, and after this huge change, they're like, no,
Right.
I hate Facebook. It makes me sad. It makes me depressed because I hate it.
Yeah.
Nothing is in the same spot anymore. Of course, you're going to have a significant emotional impact on that.
Easy Google. Easy Google Plus. Over
I might.
here. But you're right. But you're right. I mean, all biases aside, it's you're right. I don't know. I just think I think it's a loaded. I think it's a loaded study. It's a loaded
Yeah,
study.
I agree. Especially the biggest red flag for me. I'm going off what you said was the that there's only 83 people in this quote unquote study. That's not enough. That's not a big enough.
No,
sample.
it's not. You need at least a few hundred.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. I think that's the front and back of it.
Well, thank you everyone for listening.
Yes.
It's been a phenomenal.
That's awesome that you
show.
were listening this far, all the way.
We appreciate
all the way
Yeah.
through.
you,
Yes.
and come back next week for our very first double digits episode. We promise
Yeah.
that it is going to be epic.
Yes.
We're going to figure out
If you
some
have
way
any
to make it epic.
topics that you want us to talk about.
Yeah, maybe
or-
we can have our first user submitted or first listener submitted topic.
an article on
You
your
know what?
site. We'll plug
You know
your
what?
site.
And to even build
Okay.
on that,
Build
why
away.
don't you? I mean, I think it'd be fun to just answer some Q&A.
Okay.
I mean, if there's something one of our listeners want to know about us, or if they just want us to expand on something that we talked about earlier, or if they just have a random question, just shoot one in. We'll give you a shout out. If you have a Twitter handle, include that, and we'll we'll give you a mention, and I think that'd be fun. I think we're at a point where we can definitely dip into our listener
That'd be
base.
great.
All right, and tune in next week. We'll see you guys next time.
And just remember, everyone has opinions. These are just ours.
Cut it.
Cut it.
Tip your servers.
Oh my god. I haven't been recording this whole time. Are you making that face at me, or are you just making a face, Cole? Oh, okay, good. I just wanted to see that face. That's all. Because it was good. Because she did this. Because Allison, and then okay, I'm gonna stop.